Hey everybody, it's Tim with Broken Dice, bringing you a quick little channel update and my reply to being tagged. Apparently, this has got started where we're telling everyone a little something extra about ourselves, kind of our hobbies outside of our wargaming interests. Well, mine tend to be more cerebral pursuits these days. Now you see the background back here. I've got all these weapons and okay, let me turn sideways. And the matchlock down there at the bottom. Friend and I, we made that. That was fun. But all that stuff is more representative of what I used to do. I like it. It's a wall. It's decorative now, but I used to use all that stuff. Used to teach it. Yeah, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, this would have been a much more interesting video. But now it just hangs on the wall. Rarely I take it down to clean it, but that's about it. Too many surgeries I've had to go through, and so and time is undefeated, so it all caught up with me, and it was time to move on out of that and do other things. And so now more of my pursuits are cerebral rather than physical. I still work out. Fraser mentioned about him going to the gym, but I work out a lot too. My job's very physical. And being almost 62 years old, I need to, work out a lot and so I can stay in my job because it's very physical, fast paced, pays well, but it's not what I would in any way, shape, or form call a cerebral challenge. So what I do now is when I read a lot. I'm very interested in anything that has to do with problem solving. So kind of started a few years back. I got a book, and this one kind of started my interest. It's called Against the Gods. The story of risk, the history of risk. Very interesting. And how all that came, from a simple idea of dice to our modern insurance world that we live in. It's a very interesting topic, and how we define risk and how we define risk in our own lives. When we're talking about our, say our own personal investments and stuff, you have to decide, you have to understand what your risk level is. You have to understand, am I really sort of, I'm an on the edge kind of a person. I'm going to throw all this at it, hoping for this big win at the end, or you're more methodical and plotting and very conservative approaches. It's just kind of an interesting topic for me. Another thing I'm kind of into, and I've been reading different books, but this is one of the very first ones I got. Game Theory 101. And it has nothing to do, believe it or not, with games. It can be utilized by games, but it is not necessarily about games. Again, problem solving, choice making, choice management, risk management, all those sorts of things. It's just an interest of mine. Keeps, when you read about things that make you think or take you, just like doing anything physical, you want guns, you got to, go to the gym. You want to be smart, you got to read, you got to push your own personal mental envelope as well. And that's what those things are about. Let's see, along those lines, I guess I'm reading I like to read all the time now as a hobby, I guess. And what I'm reading now is this. very interesting book. Um, it's about America after the Ice Age. Okay. So there's not a whole lot of evidence lying around to tell us what it was like. Um, so it's a very interesting story. A lot of um, similarities between the ancient Egyptian religions and some of the Native American religious uh, beliefs. I, it's an interesting read. I'll leave it at that. People can make up their own minds about it, but to me, it's a fascinating story how we get to here from there, and it's such we call the time after the fall of the Roman Empire the Dark Ages. Well, to me, the true Dark Age is that time right after. There's a lot of amazing things that were done from that time forward, and we all the way up through the building of the pyramids and stuff. There were some amazing things done. Matter of fact, right close to where I live, and I did not know this, that one of the things in his book, the Serpent Mound, it's right over the border in Ohio. It's less than an hour or so drive away. I think I'm going to use his little book here for maybe like a little tour guide, and I'm going to go see some of these sites, and maybe I'll post a video or two of it. But I think that's going to probably be my new kind of hobby obsession outside of the wargaming. And that's pretty much about it. I don't do anything really crazy anymore. I'm much more laid back at this point in time in my life than I've ever been. But my turn to tag other people. First up is from Basic Miniature Painting, Justin. Then I'm going to go a little outside the box, and I'm going to tag Phil R. I know he's from France, but we all have translators now on our it's wonderful. We know what you're saying, so get on up there and tell us something about yourself. And Boots on the Table, Gamer Dom, you've been tagged. So it's up to you guys to get on here and tell us something about yourselves. I've opened up. I'm sure I've put most of you to sleep, and so wake up from your nap and get back to doing something productive, and I will see you next time.